Hello. How y'all doing? How's it going? How we doing? How's everybody out there ready to take land? Track and field land, wherever you want to be at. How's it going? How's everybody doing? All right, I'm in the office. Y'all know if I'm in the office, it's because I'm here to clear up some stuff, you know, or I'm here to kind of talk about what's going on. I know what you guys are waiting for. You're waiting for the lives. You're waiting for the whole crew to come back and discuss these topics, which we will. That's on season 3. Season 3 starts in January, by the way. Season 3 is going to be pretty amazing. I have some plans for y'all. A lot of plans. A whole lot of plans. A lot of good stuff. Anyway, let's get to why we're here. We'll get to why we're here. So, as the uproar has started already, from this new qualification standard. If you've not seen the qualification standard by now, then that means you're under a rock, because not only have I posted it everywhere, I know my brother Colin has posted it everywhere. Different outlets have posted it for you to see, okay? In case you didn't see it, I'm going to read it out for you, all right? The new qualifying standards set by the IAAF would be for men 100-meter dash 10 flat. So that means if you run 10:01, you can't get in. That's amazing. For the 200, it's 20.16. That means if you run 20.17, you can't get in. 400 is 45 flat. That means if you can't run 44, you can't get in. The 800 for men is 144. If you run 145, you can't get in. Ooh, I like the 1500. It's a series of threes. I like threes. 333.50 is for the 1500. If you run 333.51, you can't get in. The ball. Wow. Let's run to these 110 hurdles. 110 hurdles is 1327. If you run 1328, guess what? Ah, you're right. You can't get in. 400-meter hurdles. 4870. 4871, can't get in. Let's go to some of these jumps, because I know a lot of people was talking about these jumps. High jump, 233. Don't jump 234. Pole vault, 582. Long jump, 827. Long jump, 827. Triple jump, 1722. Wow. Let's switch back over to the women's side. Women, 100-meter dash, 1107. That ain't too bad. You know, 1107. You know, not bad. 2257. 50.95. 402.50. 1277. Wow, 1277. 54.8. High jump 197. Long jump 686. Triple jump 1455. Okay, people, here's my turn to give my take. That's what you hear. It's what you want to know. You want to know how I feel about this list. I effing love it. When I say I love it, oh, when they first started talking about they was going to do it, I thought about writing IAAF myself. Say, hey, y'all know me. I'm Ray. Take Mondays, Ray. I spent some time running. This is what I think. I agree with y'all 100 million, kajillion, %. I agree with y'all 100%. I agree with y'all 100%. This is the standard, and this is the way it should be, okay? Here's my reasoning why, all right? With these standards right here, that means that about, I can just, without even going through the numbers and go ahead and tell you about only, I'm not going to say a fourth or eighth. You're looking at like 1/16 of track and field who are in these events will be able to get in. You're looking at maybe a field of people who may only be in the hundreds. You may only get 12 qualifiers. In every event now, you may get 12. 16 is going to be stretching it. 16 people under 10 flat. Ooh, that's going to be stretching it. That's going to be stretching it, Jack. Stretching it. 16 people under 1107. That's going to be stretching it, Jack. That's going to be stretching it. That's going to be good. That's going to be stretching it. Now, here's why I think this is a great thing for track and field. Because what it's doing is it's establishing a hierarchy to where you can't get in this club unless you can get in this club. You got it? You can't get into this league, stay with me, until you can get into this league. All right? The one thing that we fight for all the time is money, right? Right? Y'all say it. Everybody says it. Track athletes don't make enough money. Track athletes don't make enough money. Track athletes don't make enough money. The sport don't make enough money. Okay, that's fine and dandy. So this is what you can do. You can cut the fat, all right? So I'm going to give y'all some basic numbers, basic stuff. So say you got a budget of, I don't know, I'm going to throw something out there. You got a $100 million budget, right? Ain't nobody got that. I'm just saying. You got a $100 million budget, right? And out of this $100 million budget, you have athletes out of college, and we'll get into that part too. You have athletes out of college who've ran fast. You got just people off the street that's ran fast. So, you know, there's money that got to be dispersed amongst, could potentially be a lot of people. But when you have this creme de la creme, guess what a company can do now? A company can make smarter investments, and they also can put more money into their investment. Why? Because if we sit with 100 million and we only got to separate it between like 12 people, chances are those 12 people are going to make more money. Okay. Now, what does that do for the other athletes? Like somebody tweeted to me. It doesn't help the mid-tier athletes. Here's my thing on that. You're right. It does not help the mid-tier athletes, which is why the NFL has semi-pro and the NFL has arena. Those are for mid-tier athletes. That's why the NBA has a G League. Those are for mid-tier athletes. MLB got a minor league. Those are for mid-tier athletes. Okay? What I see happening now is we're finally creating something to where you can say, I am a professional track athlete. Why? I hit the standards. Like, they set some standards that are astronomical, and I hit them. I'm a pro. If you don't hit these standards, you ain't a pro. So now, when you're looking at it from an aspect of how do you determine who's a pro, who's not a pro, oh, you're going to start seeing now. Like, ain't going to be no question about it. Now, for the mid-tier athletes, here's what you got to understand. Just because you're not in or you're not hitting these markers doesn't mean you can't get in eventually. That just means you got to work hard. They're not going to stop having local track meets. You know, they're not going to stop having open track meets. So what you got to do is go to these open track meets, even though they won't count. Stay with me. They won't count if it's not a track meet that the IAAF has sanctioned. But what it'll do for you is it'll put you a time out there, period. So now if you just went to if you went to Miramar, and Miramar don't count, but you drop 9.8 or something crazy, guess what gets to happen now? An agent gets to see that, okay? And then you go somewhere else to another little small meet, boom, drop it again. Guess what that agent gonna do? That agent gonna see that, and he's now going to approach you and say, hey, I might can help you get a lane in Brussels or somewhere. I think y'all are misunderstanding that part. Lanes are still available for anybody. So if you're a mid-tier athlete, guess what? Bust your ass so that somebody can discover you. The same way they do in other sports. The same way they do in, my Instagram is going off the chain. The same way they do in football, basketball, every other sport. They're still grinding until they get an opportunity. And when they get opportunity, they're in then. This is the same thing they're doing now in track and field. You just got to grind. You got to be on grind mode to get into the league now. I'm a fan of it. Why? Because they also put the new rule in to where your time will only count if it's at a track meet that is actually sanctioned by the IAAF. Meaning your back meets ain't gonna count no more. Meaning stuff like why I still hit my Instagram? Hold on, y'all. Let me get back to y'all. That's getting annoying. But anyway, so that means your small meets won't count anymore. Your college meets won't count anymore. I'm a fan of that. Because I've already spoke to y'all about how I feel about college athletes being able to compete next to pro athletes. You can't be a pro athlete if you got a college athlete next to you. So if these are the standards, then guess what's going to happen? College athlete can't be next to me. College athlete can't be next to me during the track season, first of all, because why? You got to go run in your regular track meets in college, and those track meets won't count, first and foremost. So the chances of you ever racing me are very slim now because you can't get a meet to get in, all right? That's the first thing. Second thing is, as long as we do it this way, the future will change. That's what a lot of y'all ain't seeing. A lot of y'all are seeing the now. The now. Well, it's going to hurt this, hurt this. It's called sacrifice. It's called somebody got to go. Like somebody got to be a sacrificial lamb. I'm sorry. Somebody got to be sacrificed. And in situations like this, it's a lot of people that got to be sacrificed. But the sacrifice is for the greater good of the future. In the future. Because to me, now we got a standard to where we can say if you are or if you aren't a professional track athlete. You can't run around here with a USA uniform because you did something at peer relays and they needed an alternate and now you ain't a pro. You're not a pro. If you're not hitting these standards, you're not a pro. You're an amateur. Simple. It's so simple. It's so simple that I love it. I love it. Love it. So don't look at this like a bad thing. Look at this as change. Excuse me. Change is good. You got to have change. You got to have change. This is the change that I feel like we needed. We're literally saying you can't run. Meaning, if you're in college, you can't run. If you ain't hit these standards, you can't run. Simple as that. It's literally that simple. So guess what? What will happen is you'll probably end up seeing the exact same athletes race every single weekend. Well, that's weird because if I watch football, I'm watching the same players play every weekend for the Cowboys. Sometimes they don't play too good. If I'm watching basketball, I'm watching the same 5 play all season. If I'm watching Major League Baseball, I'm watching the same pitcher all season. So guess what? If this is the standard and you're the pro, you're going to be at every single track meet all season. Now, what else does that do for us? Okay. Now, if we got that standard, we can actually start to follow particular athletes solely just as fans. Like now this whole season, this entire season, I get to only follow this person or follow that person or follow this person. Now you can create stuff like track and field, fantasy league. The possibilities of what we can create out of this is what I'm looking at. Like, okay, well, we getting somewhere now. We're finally figuring out a way to cause and create a separation. Instead of everybody can play. No, everybody can't play. Everybody can't play. There's no reason why this 10-3 runner should be next to Marvin Bracey or Fred or Trayvon. That should not happen. There's no reason for that. There's no reason for a college girl to be lined up next to Sid. There's no reason for that. This lady is astronomical. There should not be a college kid lined up next to her at all. So guess what? That separation just happened. I'm a fan of it. I promise y'all I love it. Y'all thought I'd be mad, didn't you? I ain't mad at all. I'm not mad. I'm like, well, it's about time. It's about time we figure out how to determine if you're a pro. If you can't hit these standards, you're not a pro. Just that simple. You can't hit the standards, you ain't a pro. You ain't a pro. You ain't a pro. You would think that some people in these ideas I be spewing out be listening. Hey, y'all, season 3, I'm telling y'all, Everything gonna be different. Backdrop, everything. Merch, everything coming. Sponsoring athletes, everything's coming. Everything coming season 3. But y'all gotta learn to accept this type of change. Accept this type of change. Love y'all.